Krishna. Welcome to the series of discussing the principles of Vastu Shastra. Many times people approach me asking so many basic questions on Vastu. So I decided to make some simple informative videos so that anyone interested can be benefited by this. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, let's try to understand what exactly is the Vastu principles, or what is this, the word Vastu really means, what it has to do with the principles of building or constructing homes. So this is described in Matsya Purana. When Lord Shiva in ancient times was having battle with the great demon Andhaka. Andhaka was one of the very powerful demons who desired to possess Parvati for his wife. So Lord Shiva had a battle with this demon Andhaka. So during this battle, some drops of perspiration fell from the body of Lord Shiva and they fell to the ground. And from this drops of perspiration, a huge creature appeared. He took the birth from this perspiration drops. He had a very huge, wide open mouth. And he appeared to be very hungry. So, those of you know might the history about Andhaka. Andhaka expanded himself into so many different forms. In fact, he had a blessings. He had a boon that every drop of blood that fell from his body will replicate his form. That means he'll create another Andhaka. So since Lord Shiva was having battle with Andhaka, and he injured Andhaka, and lot of blood was falling from his body to the ground, and so many Andhakas were created. So Lord Shiva was killing all those Andhakas, all those expansions of Andhaka that had expanded from this form of Andhaka. So this Vastu Purusha, this huge creature, it was not still known as Vastu. But he went on drinking the blood of all these forms of Andhaka that were being killed by Lord Shiva. And yet, his hunger was not satisfied. So after the battle was over, when Andhaka was destroyed, he was still very hungry. In order to satisfy the hunger, he started performing tapasya to please Lord Shiva. And soon his tapasya was fulfilled, and Lord Shiva appeared in front of him and said, "Ask any boon." He said, "My dear Lord, I want this benediction. I'm so hungry. I want to have ability to eat or devour the three worlds." And Lord Shiva said, "So be it." So getting this benediction that he can devour practically anything in the three worlds means Bhu, Bhuvar and Swarloka, in all the three places, in Bhuloka, in Bhuvarloka and Swargaloka. So he went to Swargaloka and started eating the demigods, all the devas, he started devouring them. So demigods, they pushed him from the Swargaloka and he fell to the earth, this Bhumandala, with his face downwards. And as soon as he fell to the ground, all the demigods, like Brahma and everyone else, they came and sat on top of him. So his face was down, his belly was touching the ground. So they all sat on his back on top of him. And since all the demigods sat on his body to keep him immobile, he became known as Vaastu. Because Vasati means the demigods were sitting on top of him. The Vasati, sitting is called Vasati. So they all settled on his body. Therefore, he became known as Vaastu. And he was practically made immobile. So, when he was being held down, just imagine a person with his head down and somebody sitting on top of him, So then he started pleading to Lord Brahma and all the devas, my dear sirs, you all are holding me back like this. You have made me immobile. But how long I shall continue like this? Please be gracious and be merciful to me. I was eating because I'm hungry. So please allot me some food and release me from this bondage. So the demigod said, okay, you be here in this Bhumandala only. Brahma and all the demigods, they actually gave him benediction. They said, okay, from today onwards, whoever builds any structure, a home, a building, a village, a city, or any kind of construction is being done, people will offer you a sacrifice, which will be known as Vastu Puja or Vastu Shanti. So, people will perform Vastu Shanti Yajna, that will become your food. And also, when people will perform a yajna or sacrifice called Vishwadevas, the last sacrifice of that yajna would be also your food. And rest assured, those who do not perform the Vastu Puja or Vastu Shanti Yajna, those people and their homes and their property, everything they possess will become your food. You can devour all of them. So since that time, because this was the benediction received by this Vastu Purusha from Brahma and all the demigods, since that time there was a system of performing Vastu Puja at the beginning of any construction. And people who failed to perform, they naturally became the food of this Vastu Purusha, and he's capable of devouring all of them. That means, since that time, the system of performing the Vastu Yajna or Vastu Shanti, Puja has been done. And therefore, it is actually very crucial to construct the home as per the principles and also perform the Vastu Shanti Yajna or Vastu Puja at the beginning of construction and also at the time of Graha Pravesh or entering into the new home. So this is how significant this Vastu Puja is or Vastu Graha Shanti is, because this pacifies the deity of Vastu Purusha. So in Vastu, science of architecture, the Vastu is regarded as the presiding deity of every dwelling place or every structure that is created. And therefore, every home or every structure that is constructed, whether it's office building or even a city or village development, is done as per the principles of Vastu. So, how this is done is, when the Vastu Purusha was on the ground and all the demigods sat on top of him, all the demigods and demons, they were actually holding him down because he was eating everyone and anyone. So, whoever sat on whichever place became the place of that particular deity or that particular demigod or demon. So, therefore, whenever we talk about the Vastu, we talk about Vastu Mandala. The Vastu Mandala, you will see the different demigods are placed in that diagram. Like in the center of the Vastu Mandala is Brahma. So Lord Brahma sat right on the back, in the middle of the back of Vastu Purusha. So that became Brahma Sthana. Similarly, on his head, near his Shikha was sitting the Ishanya. So that became the Ishanya Kona. That is the northeast portion of the Vastu Mandala. In this way, different demigods were sitting on his body. And that is how the Vastu Mandala is constructed. And placing different things within the home at different places, which are the sitting places of these different demigods, brings a certain result. So we will be discussing what is the result and consequences of placing which structure or what kind of rooms or bathrooms or kitchen or whatever places we can imagine in the structure or in a building. When they're placed in certain places, in certain locations of the Vastu Mandala, what are the consequences? So, thank you very much. We will continue to discuss from here onwards. This was just a brief introduction to give everyone understanding what is really Vastu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.